How's it going, guys? Andrew here with Justified EDC, and I have a kind of new knives and gear video mixed in a little bit with a mid-review update. Some of these things are brand new and you haven't seen them on the channel at all yet, and some of them you've seen just once or twice, but I want to kind of give you a little bit of an update on how the review process is going. So we're going to get into all of that real quick, but I have to thank the sponsor of the channel, as always, Auxiliary Manufacturing. Mike over at Auxiliary Manufacturing is making awesome custom USA-made fixed blades like this Pocket Bowie or this Sumi model right here. So he's got a bunch of different models. He's got a little bit of everything. I'm sure you'll find something that you're interested in. I do have a discount code with him. Code Justified10 will get you 10% off your order on his website. So if you're interested in anything like this, definitely go check it out. I will leave links to his Instagram and his website down in the description, as well as that discount code. So let him know that I sent you, and thank you as always to Mike for sponsoring the channel. So let's get right into this here. We'll start with the things that I think you guys have seen already, and then we'll go into things that are brand new. I know you guys want to see the fixed blades, but we're going to save those for last. First one, again, we're going to just do a little bit of a shameless plug. This is one of my products through my company, G3D Printables. If you are familiar with the BicBank, which is this guy right here, we had launched these a little while ago. These are just a sleeve for a full-size Bic lighter that adds, two storage tubes that we specialize, some tools that fit down in there. It has 3 slots for the 3 Victorinox scale tools. It's got a storage compartment down underneath. It got this lighter clip, lanyard bead. You can kind of use it as a loaded fist. So we decided to do a BicBank Mini, which takes the mini Bics. This one's going to be geared a little bit towards, more EDC friendly. It's much smaller, actually, comparing it to the size of a standard Bic lighter. They are very comparable in overall dimension. But this, if you're going to have a lighter in your pocket, this fits in like the coin pocket of your jeans. Might as well have a couple added capabilities. So obviously fits your standard mini Bic lighter. Is this friction fit down in here. Again, this is a prototype, so some of the fitment and stuff like that of the tools and stuff are going to be a little bit different. We've adjusted them all slightly since this prototype, but if you can fit the sleeve down in there. It's got this nice texture on the outside. Got a lanyard hole down here that you can put whatever lanyard on here you want, but it'll come with this little knuckle bead. Down on the bottom here, you have a storage compartment that you can fit medication or any other kinds of stuff. You could probably fit a little tiny survival kit down in there. I know you guys are really creative with fitting a bunch of tiny little tools into small spaces. So that, again, down there is just a friction fit, just push fit insert, so that keeps that all secure. And then at the top here, we got rid of the 2 storage tubes to make it nice and compact, but we still did retain the slots for the Victorinox ballpoint pen, the tweezers, and the toothpick. So I really like this. In my EDC, this has kind of been able to replace, I had a little pill container that I carried, and I usually carried a full-size Bic lighter, and then I usually also carried a Victorinox Classic SD, mostly just for the toothpick and tweezers. So that's been able to kind of take all 3 of those things and put it into one tiny little package here that fits in the 5th pocket of my jeans. I really like this. The ones that we're selling will also come with one of those fuel clips that clips underneath the fuel tab so that you can't depress that by accident. Right now, we do have some of these available on the website. I'll leave a link down in the description. They're going to be in like a ribbon-colored PLA filament. This one happens to be in a copper PLA, which is really cool with this texture on here. We're going to do some in ABS. We're going to do some in all different colors. So if you don't see one on the site that you like right now, you can wait for some other ones, but there's some really cool colors out there right now. We also do have a Labor Day sale going on right now, so if you see this before the 8th of September, you can use code G3D Labor 5 to get yourself $5 off an order of 25 or over. So now that the shameless plug is over, I have been carrying this every single day since we made the prototype, so I just wanted to put that out there. The next thing is this guy right here. I did a dedicated video on this, unboxing it and swapping the scales and everything, but this is the Real Steel Barlow, and this is the only utility kind of EDC knife that I've been using for almost 3 weeks now. I decided to carry this for my only utility knife for a whole month just to kind of test out how I liked carrying slip joints as my primary EDC knife, but I also wanted to try out having a pocket clip on one, and also this 3/4 stop that they have in here. This is kind of like the European version of a half stop. So normally your half stops, you know, close right around here. This one closes at 3/4. The thinking there is that you can have your fingers a little higher up on the handle and it'll still stop before it bites you. So I've been liking that a lot. N690, so it doesn't hold an edge for a super long time, but I did put my own edge on here. And since I laid back the angle to 20 degrees per side, it has been holding an edge a little bit longer. It takes a very, very sharp edge. The centering is perfect. The clip has been holding up well. The walk and talk is great. There's no blade play or anything like that. It's a really, really nice knife. So I've been enjoying carrying this. It's been going well. I haven't had any real issues with it. The reason I'm carrying this is to experiment, to see kind of what features I like in an EDC slip joint so that I can hopefully get some kind of custom slip joint made for my EDC. So got a little over a week left of this being my only EDC/utility knife. You know, I've still been carrying fixed blades for, you know, those times where you need a little bit harder use of a knife, or like a defensive knife, but this has been my only utility knife, and I've been really enjoying it. So again, that's the Real Steel Barlow. You can get a bunch of different scales for this and stuff, which is really cool. So yeah, really cool little knife. That's been going well. The last thing that you have seen already, actually this was the last video I put out. This is the Soul Built Marksmith, which is a bolt action titanium permanent marker. So it's got these Sharpie branded inserts. It is bolt action, and it is made out of titanium. This one happens to be the black DLC finish. So you can see here, I've dropped this many, many times. Some just, you know, by accident, and some I did some actual drop tests on just to see how durable it was. And I'm happy to report, other than some nicks and dings on the DLC finish, it's held up very well. The bolt action still works very well. It hasn't cracked or anything. The threads still thread just fine. Those haven't gotten damaged or anything. So very happy with how this is holding up so far. Again, this is a very pricey marker. These are come from like anywhere from like 99 to like 125, depending on what finish you get, if you get an engraving, all that kind of stuff. So definitely a cool offering. They did send this over to me to review, so I will do a full review on this, but just wanted to update you guys that so far it's been holding up really well. It seems to be very durable, and I do like the one-handed feature of it instead of having to take a cap off and put it on the back. So the only thing I still don't like is that it rattles like this with the marker insert. With the ballpoint pen insert, it doesn't do that, but overall, very happy with this product. Let's see, we'll save the fixed blades for last. This I just got in yesterday. This is a front pocket bifold wallet made by Redeemed Creations Co. over on Instagram. Again, I'll leave links and stuff down below. But I've been carrying, and I brought out some of the other wallets that I enjoy carrying just as a reference for size and stuff like that. Again, this is not a full review. This is my first day. I've been carrying this all day. It's really been the first full day of carry. But just as a size comparison, some of the wallets that I've enjoyed in the past, these are really the only 3 wallets that I've had that have really stuck around in terms of long-term carry. This is the Open Sea Leather back when it was Das Offenamir Topsider Quick Draw. This is the one I've had the longest. I carry this for years. Then I had this one. This is the Rustic Heirloom Hitchhiker. Again, very thin, just got a card slot and a slot back here in the back. Very thin, again, front pocket wallet. And then most recently I've been carrying this one, which is taking an excellent patina. This one's from Arrowhead Goods Co., and this is the Outlaw wallet. So very kind of a slimmed down version almost of the Open Sea Leather Quick Topsider. So you can see overlaid there, it's much more thin. It's really only the size of a card, and it's got the 2 slots here on the inside and then the quick draw on the back. So this has a lot of features that I like in that, but growing up I always carried bifold wallets. Probably until I was like in college, I carried either a leather or a nylon bifold wallet, and they were the really bulky ones that you kind of had to keep in your back pocket, but then you're sitting on it and it was uncomfortable. And then when I found out about, these kind of more minimalist front pocket wallets, I went to that just because it was much more comfortable. But I've always been drawn to bifolds, and when I saw this model, I do have another thing from Redeem Creations here. Where is it? He made this beautiful pocket sheath for my SE Azula. That's how I first found out about him. So he does make some pocket sheaths and stuff as well for some fixed blades. So I got that, and then I was following him on Instagram, and I saw this model here pop up, which is his front pocket bifold, and I really, really enjoy it. I had just some like blank cards in here just so I don't have to worry about showing my information or anything. But it's got the features of these front pocket minimalist wallets while still retaining the bifold aspect. So you have a quick draw slot here on the back. That I usually just keep 2 cards in. I just keep my debit card and my ID in there. It's easy enough to get the cards in and out. It's still getting broken in, obviously, but the cards go in and out just fine. So nice to have an easy access slot on the outside, which is a feature I don't see on a lot of bifolds, which I really like. And on the inside, very simple. You just have 2 slots in here. I keep my 4 other cards in here. Again, very easy to get your cards out and back in. And then I just keep some twice folded cash over here in the other side. You could fit more cards in there. You could fit business cards. These are wide enough to fit business cards, which I did check on. But it folds up into still a pretty slim, again, these don't have any cards in them, but a pretty slim package compared to some of these other minimalist wallets, while it retains that aspect of being a bifold. So the leather on this one's a little bit thicker than the other ones, which I like. It feels very durable. It's already starting to conform really, really well. Even just one day of being in my pocket, it's kind of hot outside, so being up against your body and sweating, it's already starting to take a little bit of patina. It's already starting to mold to these cards, so I foresee this being very much a favorite of mine. I really, really like this so far. I love the bifold aspect while still being able to carry it in my front pocket, so very much enjoying this. I will do a full review on this down the road, but again, this is really only day 2 of me having this. So that's going to go right back in my pocket because I was carrying it today. And then let's talk about fixed blades, because I know that's what you guys are here for. So the first one here, and I have to pull out another knife in comparison. Actually, we're going to pull out a family of knives to compare this to. 1, 2, 3. So if you're familiar with Offensive Industries, he does Kydex sheaths. He just makes knives now. This is his Fenrir line. So you have the original Fenrir, this tiny stubby little guy, 3/32 Nitro V, and then the Fenrir M, which is the same stubby blade with a longer handle, still 3/32 inch Nitro V, and then the Fenrir L, which is the full-size handle and a longer blade, but he did the L originally in 1/8 inch stock. And that was really one of my only complaints about it, is that it was very similar in performance with that 1/8 inch stock to his Varger line. So I had suggested to him to maybe keep the length of the handle and the blade, but to slim out that stock to 3/32 to match the other two. And that way there was some actual performance difference between this and his Varger. So that's what this is. Obviously this one is much more blingy than the others, but this is another Fenrir L. This time in 3/32 stock, again Nitro V, but with a Japanese style wrap and the sweet chocolate chip camo that I love so much. The purple and this go together really, really well. I really like this configuration. But here, just as a comparison, you can see the 2 knives. Again, this one is brand new. I haven't even used this one yet. But there you can see they are the same knife, but there you can see the stock thickness differences between 1/8 inch and 3/32. So I'm hoping that this has a little bit more sliciness to it, to kind of fall in line with the rest of the Fenrir line, and to kind of differentiate it between the Fenrir and the Varger. But there is the difference between the 2 Fenrir L's in the 2 different stock thicknesses. Again, I will be doing a full review on this after I've carried it for a while, and I'll do a comparison to this as well. But that is, I now have the full Fenrir family and all of its configurations. I'm very happy to have those Again, Josh sent this over for me to review, so thank you to him for sending this along. He's been one of the biggest supporters of the channel. People like him and Mike and BW Knives, Crossroad Customs, those guys have all been really great at helping me out with knives to review. Josh has been one of the biggest supporters of the channel from the very beginning, so as always, I appreciate him. And definitely go check out his work. Again, I'll leave links to all this stuff down in the description. But that's the Fenrir and 3/32 stock. And then the last thing here is this guy. This is the La Bruja, I think I'm saying that right, from Turner CNC. This is a collaboration with Ed Calderon, Ed's Manifesto, you know, the guy that designed the Elvia knife, you know, the reverse edge Pakal folder and fixed blades. They've done 2 different versions of the Elvia. Full size. They have a smaller Elvia through Turner with Ed, and then this is his version of what he calls a field knife. It's kind of stylized after those butcher knives with the big upswept blade, where, you know, butchers kind of use it in a reverse grip like this and kind of go into a carcass that's hanging and kind of work their way down. So it's kind of a hybrid field knife, butcher knife kind of style. I just thought it was super, super interesting. I've been a big fan of Turner CNC's work. And I picked this up on the secondary market from one of my buddies on Instagram for a discounted price. So you know who you are. I really appreciate you selling me this at less than retail price so I could check this out and review it for the channel. So Turner did not send this to me. I bought this of my own volition, so I will be testing this to its full capabilities and doing a full review on it. My initial thoughts... it's really weird. One of the reasons I wanted this knife is because it's such a different shape than anything else I've really ever had before. I did start using it today a little bit, just for some light utility cuts as well as breaking down some cardboard and stuff. And it does perform very well. Just specs real quick. You have a 3V, a CPM 3V blade. These are Ultim scales. I'm not a huge fan of how the Ultim looks. They feel pretty nice, but I'm not a big fan of how it looks on this. So I did order some of the 3D printed scales that Turner has on their website for this. So I think they should be here today or tomorrow. So I should be able to get some pictures and stuff of that on Instagram, which, another shameless plug, go follow me on Instagram if you want to keep up to date with what I'm carrying and what I'm reviewing. But a really interesting knife. The stock thickness is, they had it listed at 0.15, which is pretty damn close to 5/32, so kind of in between your 1/8 inch and your 3/16 blade stock. So it is decently thick, but they did their machined. Again, you can kind of see the machining marks down here. This is a 3D machined blade, so it's not a ground bevel. It is actually a milled bevel. And the way that this grind is, they don't list on the website whether this is a, hey there, my wife just got home from work, so, they don't list whether this is a hollow or a flat grind on their website. If it's anything like the Jackalope XL, which I just did a review on that one, they kind of had they called it a hybrid hollow grind, which, again, because they're actually milling the bevel, they're able to do things where they can, you know, thin it out in certain places and leave it thicker in other places. So that was kind of in between a hollow and a flat. I think this is kind of similar, because if I feel down to the edge here, it's very, very thin behind the edge, right down here towards the heel of the blade. And then as it goes up, it does thicken up behind the edge, which, again, admittedly, is what you would want for something like this. You want that tip to still be strong. And back here with the is where you would want that thinner part of the edge for those kind of push cuts. But really, really interesting kind of blade. You can use it in your kind of reverse grip edge in like that. Again, the tip is oriented much higher than center line, so you just have to be aware of that. But just really interesting kind of the grips you can use this in. They do have the removable scales with the smuggler's pocket on the inside. And you can get a bunch of different scales. This is the heat treat finish blade. So really interesting. I'm going to be carrying this for a while, trying to figure out, you know, what it's good at, what it's not, whether it's worth it or not, and I'll do a full review for you guys. The one nitpick I do already have is the sheath. I really, really don't like this sheath. One, it only goes in one direction, which, again, understandable because of the curved nature of the blade, but it kind of limits how you can carry it. Also, it rattles quite a bit. It's pretty loud. And also, I received this without a clip on it. It comes with a Tracker Dan clip straight from Turner, but it has a couple different mounting holes underneath here that accepts different DCC clips and stuff like that. But it was an absolute nightmare to get this clip on. I think it probably took me like an hour to get this clip on. One, I had to actually remount some of the holes because they weren't big enough for any standard Chicago screws that I had that work on all of my other rivets and stuff like that, so that was kind of a pain. There's also no good way to get underneath here to kind of locate the bottom of the Chicago screw into here. So I kind of had to get like a knife blade in there to kind of push up and put pressure on here while I was trying to screw these in. It was an absolute nightmare of a process to swap the clip out on this. So I really did not like that. Again, it rattles. It only goes in one direction. And then, you know, if you wanted to carry it like on the left side inside the waistband, on the right side, it kind of conforms to your body. But on the left side, it really just digs down into your leg. It's not tall enough to really be a pocket sheath. You still have all of this handle sticking up. So what I did here is I just took one of my Offensive Industries sheaths and I remolded it so it fits. It fits in here. So this is probably primarily how I'll be carrying it. At some point I might just send it off to Josh to get a dedicated sheath. But for now, that's how I'd be carrying it. I don't see myself using this sheath much. It's really just, it's not very good. The retention is good. It has these two milled pieces right in here that the retention points are hooked onto. So it snaps into place very well. It's not going to come out. But again, the rattle and just how hard it is to mount clips on here, really not a fan of this sheath. I really wish they would have done pretty much anything else. I almost wish they would have just done a simple fold-over sheath so that you could mount hardware easier, or just, you know, put some larger rivets on either side so you can mount clips. But it is what it is. So that's my initial thoughts on that. I'll bring everything back out here so you can see it one more time just so you know what we talked about. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything about what I talked about here today, if you want to see dedicated reviews on anything, definitely let me know. I will leave links to all the stuff down in the description. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.